You know what it is. We'll do 47 all day for a lane and popping off in this pitch as much rugby league information as possible. Continuing on with the first games ever by every team series. Right now, we're up to the Hunter Mariners, who played 1 year and 1 year only. So you don't listen to their 18 scores, watching this video all the way through to the end as per always. So, who's the Hunter Mariners? A lot of rugby league fans might not have heard of the Hunter Mariners. So, Hunter Mariners participated in the Super League competition in the year 1997. They participated in 1 year and 1 year only, unfortunately. And then they'll never seen again after that, unfortunately. But I did say that every team was going to get a video, so here we go. So, Hunter Mariners were based in Newcastle at the suburb of Sandgate. Their home games they played at Breaker Stadium, or Topper Stadium, as it was also called, and that was in the suburb of Sandgate. And that was just down the road from the Newcastle Knights Stadium, which is in the suburb of Broadmeadow, also in Newcastle, New South Wales. So basically, Hunter Mariners were Super League's version of a Newcastle team, basically. And they started well in their first ever game in round one. They had to play Bulldogs at home, and they gave them a really good run for their money, but eventually they ran out of puff, and eventually Bulldogs' class of experience allowed them to get the win 20 points to 16. So for Bulldogs, a workmanlike performance, 4 tries, 2 by the centre Matthew Bryan, 1 by the winger Darryl Halligan, and 1 by the fullback Silva, and Darryl Halligan getting 2 goals from 4 attempts. Not his usual brilliant 4 from 4 goal-kicking display, but the 2 goals that he did get was still enough to get him to win at least. While for Hunter Mariners, the first player to ever get points for them, his name was Nick Zisti, the centre. Nick Zisti, he got 2 penalty goals early on in the game for Hunter Mariners to get their first ever points. For the Hunter Mariners second row, Paul Marquet, he got their first ever try, finishing off line break and crashing over next to the post. So that was brilliant stuff. Nick Zisti converted Paul Marquet's try later on in the game. It was the halfback Noel Goldthorpe who got the Hunter Mariners other try, again converted by Nick Zisti, to give them their 16 points. So this one played at Breaker Stadium, refereed by Steve Clark. The crowd 6,579 people. Played on the 2nd of March 1997. So, Hunter Mariners, they played 18 games only. Like every Super League team had to play 18 games. This was the only 18 games they ever played, so they ended up with 7 wins and 11 losses from their 18 games. They did play well at times, but every time they put some good performances together, they'd then fall apart. They'd then undo all their good work and dish up rubbish after that. And that's why they bombed out of finals contention, unfortunately. And with the 10 teams in Super League, the top 5 teams and the bottom 5 teams, there was daylight in between. Top 5 teams were up here, bottom 5 teams down here, and there was daylight between them. And in my opinion, that's because the top 5 teams were established. So that's Brisbane, Cronulla, Canberra, Canterbury, and Penrith. They're all the top 5 Super League teams. They'd all been playing the comp for many, many years and were well adapted and well used and suited to the demands and rigours of first-grade football, first-grade rugby league. Whereas the bottom 5 teams, none of them were more than 3 years old. We had the North Queensland Cowboys, Auckland Warriors, and Perth Reds. This was only their 3rd year playing. And Adelaide Rams and Hunter Mariners, it was both their 1st year playing. So, no wonder the inexperienced teams there were daylight behind the top 5 teams. So I thought that was very lopsided. So it was good. Then at the end of 1997, going into 1998, we then became one again. We then had a unified competition with the NRL in 1998. Unfortunately, Hunter Mariners became a casualty and they were never seen again. And Adelaide Rams and Gold Coast Chargers had their last year in 1998. St George Dragons and Illawarra Steelers both had their last year as a standalone team in 1998. West Magpies had their last year in 1999. Manly and Norths had their last year in 1999 before merging. So much going on in the mid and late 90s in Australian Rugby League. So many teams coming and going. So it was very turbulent times indeed. We didn't have a settled competition back then like we do these days. So we didn't have the same teams in the comp all the time like we do these days. So then, what we then need to do, before I forget, so I said Hunter Mariners won 7 and lost 11 out of their 18 games. They scored 350 points in attack, conceded 363 in defence, so the for and against was only minus 13. So there was something to like about them. They had a reasonable team on paper as well. They had, like I said, Paul Marquet in the second row, Richard Swain, I think Neil Pinginelli, I think Justin Dooley in the forwards, Noel Goldthorpe and Scott Hill in the halves, Robbie Ross fullback, Gavin Thompson, Keith Beecham and Nick Zisti in the outside backs. They had a reasonable team on paper, just didn't get results again are happening often enough. So now what we need to do is, because they only ever played the 18 games, we need to go through all 18 of the Hunter Mariners scores. So, 1997 round 1, Hunter Mariners, like we've already said, they lost to Bulldogs 2016. In round 2, they then lost to Warriors 18-14. In round 3, they lost to Adelaide Rams 10-8. Round 4, they finally got their first win. They found the Cowboys 38 points to 10. Now maybe it's not a win of huge merit, because Cowboys, of course, got the Super League wooden spoon, but at least it was a win as far as Hunter Mariners were concerned. Beating Cowboys 38-10 in round 4. And in round 5, Hunter Mariners had then lost to Canberra 18-12 at Canberra Stadium, so that wasn't an embarrassing loss by any means. In round 6, they'd lost to Penrith 36-24 at Penrith. In round 7, they'd avenged their defeat to Warriors earlier, and this time beaten Warriors 18-10, so that was good to see. In round 8, they'd beaten Western Reds, or the Perth Reds 36-16, so just when they put two good wins together against the Warriors and against the Reds, they then flopped again. And in round 9, got a single point, shut out by Cronulla 26-0 at Shark Park. And in round 10, somehow, the score ended up Bulldogs 48, Hunter Mariners 36 at Belmore, which is Bulldogs' permanent home ground at the time. So this 36 points by a losing team by Hunter, this was the highest ever score by any losing team ever in 90-odd years of rugby league at that point in time. And that record stood until last year. That record wasn't broken until last year, 2024, when St George of the Warrior, of course, scored 40 points, but lost to Parramatta 44-40 in 2024, round 26. Absolutely unbelievable for a team to score 36 and still lose. There were a couple of other teams after that, like in the years after that scored exactly 36 and still lost, but wasn't officially broken until Dragons got their 40 points last year and still lost. So that's it. So that was round 10 Super League. The Hunter Mariners lost to Bulldogs 48-36, believe it or not, 84 points in the one game, more than a point per minute. Then in round 11, then like I said, then they got some awesome wins happening. They actually won 4 consecutive games from the Mariners. No one saw that coming. No one thought they were going to win 4 consecutive games, but in round 11 they beat Penrith 30 points to 6. In round 12 they beat Brisbane 24-6. Brisbane, of course, won the Super League comp, beating Cronulla 26-8 in the Super League grand final. No one gave Mariners a chance of beating the eventual premiers, but they did, 24-6 in round 12. In round 13 they beat Canberra 16-12. And in round 14 they'd beaten Adelaide 10 points to 2. But like I said, no sooner had they had 4 excellent wins in a row, they then had 4 embarrassing losses to finish the season. And in round 15, just to show that they were just about done and dusted, even after they'd beaten Cowboys earlier in the season, in round 15, they lost to Cowboys 33-14, believe it or not. They lost to the Wooden Spooners by a big margin, 9 points. Cowboys 33, Hunter Mariners 14 in round 15 of the Super League comp. In round 16, they then lost to Penrith 30-22. In round 17, they then lost to Brisbane 34-16. So Brisbane got them back after they'd beaten Brisbane earlier. And in round 18, the last game they would ever play, they went down to Cronulla 28 points to 6. So up and down all season, a reasonable team on paper, but just results not forthcoming. But very, very hard once your first year, and then they never got a chance to set the record straight and improve it all, because it was unfortunately the only year they ever played in the competition. So there you go. Hunter Mariners finished. So doing it alphabetically, the next team is Illawarra Steelers, who ended the comp in 982. So that's obviously coming up tomorrow. If you're still watching all the way through to the end, that's my request. Thank you guys so much for not missing any essential rugby league information, and thank you, as per always, for that ongoing polarising brutal support of the Boyle Day GL47. Toodaloo.